As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Well,
Winner of the week. It's so what day is it? I've watched so much softball. I don't even know what day it is. Is it
uh, it's
week?
Wednesday.
Winner of the
Yes.
week.
Um, I had to go. Playoffs have not gone great for Playoff P since that name was handed to him, but he did do something cool. I thought this was really cool of him. He's sending a big group of kids because a lot of the activities and stuff that they typically do during the year were obviously cut short. So he's sending a big group of kids to space camp in Huntsville, Alabama. They're going to learn all kinds of really cool things with NASA and the space program. I thought that was awesome from Playoff P, even if it was maybe to put some good news out there and hide from some of the statistics here recently. But I thought that was pretty cool seeing some guys do some charity and get some kids going to see some things that maybe they would never have the opportunity to do otherwise.
Very cool.
Were you a
Uh,
space camp guy?
I I don't think I ever went to space camp, but one of my brothers was really into the space stuff. So we had like the model shuttle, all that stuff, the thing that put stars on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I was exposed to a lot of space camp stuff in my day, for sure.
I had the glow in the dark stars on my ceiling for an awkwardly long time. Yeah. Finally it was like, okay, yeah, I don't want anyone to see this
You want
anymore.
to you want to talk about awkwardly long time. I think I asked a girl to prom with those things. Like spelled prom on the ceiling with them, I think. Dude, that
Yes.
they never fail, baby.
That's
Stars on the
right.
ceiling. Do people still do that? Is that still a thing?
I don't know if they still do it. My son has this little globe that's got a bunch of LED lights on it and it like rotates so it like does a projection of the stars on the ceiling.
That's
So,
fancy.
yeah, that's pretty cool. It's kind of the new age glow in the dark stars, I guess.
So you don't have to like get a cramp in your neck, like doing it, like standing on the bed and putting them in there.
Reaching as high as you can. No, nope.
All right. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
If any of this is true, it's Bo Schembechler from Michigan.
Oh boy.
Now, we've all kind of heard of the story. Dr. Robert Anderson, who was their longtime team physician there at Michigan, has been accused of sexual assault with some of the players and touching inappropriately. And now Bo Schembechler's son, Matt Schembechler, 62 years old, which for the record is one of Bo Schembechler's adopted sons from his second, I believe his second wife that he married that had kids from a prior marriage. And he's going to be making a public statement, I think either today or tomorrow, about what went on. Uh, he says that Dr. Anderson molested him at 10 years old whenever he was getting a physical for a Pee Wee football league. And he claims that whenever he told Bo Schembechler about it, he punched him as a 10-year-old. So I, I don't know how much truth there is to this. I'm guessing that if you're going to come up with a story like this, it's not something you just totally fabricated. I did see some people claiming that anything that Matt Schembechler says is not to be believed. He's already tried to sue Bo Schembechler over different things previously. I don't know anything about that. All I know is this is bad, and there's way too many stories of coaches in different sports, at different levels, hearing something from athletes and not taking any action whatsoever. That
Yeah,
has to end.
it's got to end, right? And I do think that those days are hopefully over, right? That style of coaching. Now, clearly, we're talking about something, way more serious, right? But yeah, I assume some people that love Michigan saw that and it broke their damn heart, right? Because Bo Schembechler is a legend of Michigan football. I mean, and he was a hell of a coach when you just look at the wins and losses, right? Won a
Well,
ton.
it's their their main football building is named after him. It would be equivalent. I know he doesn't have the championships or anything, but it would be equivalent to like Barry Switzer. The
Right.
Switzer
Yeah.
Center. It's he's held in that regard.
Yeah. So, man, those are some serious allegations. Man, I did see that and I was like, oh, man, I bet because you're right. I mean, Schembechler he's brought up all the time. Like he's synonymous with Michigan football.
That's
So
right.
if he was enabling that kind of stuff or not saying anything, not doing anything, that certainly will change his legacy. There's no doubt. But once again, I don't know. I don't know where they go from here, but yikes.
And it's hard, because I believe the doctor passed away a handful of years ago. So, it's hard to really, not that he would have ever verified anything anyways, but at this point it's just kind of you have to take victims' words on that alone. So
Yeah. So, man, that's disturbing stuff. Hopefully no coaches do that stuff anymore. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, but there's
well,
terrible people in the world, man.
here's the thing. I think coaches feel like um if you don't want to upset, like if you upset anything, the whole world's going to fall apart, right? Like
Right.
if you go and call this doctor out and call the cops and they start an investigation, like all of a sudden no one's ever want to go play football at Michigan again, and it's going to be some huge deal. I think that feeling is there, but it's just not true. It's just not true. In the end, it's always going to be far worse for way more people for a million different reasons if you let trash like that continue.
Yeah. Pretty simple, right? Do the right thing. Do
There you
what's
go.
right.
The do right rule.
Do right. Pretty simple. Pretty simple way to live life. Okay, my winner of the week, thought about going with Owasso's own Shake Milton, right? I mean, he was huge for the 76ers in their game 2 win over the Hawks. Some big time shots.
God, how many
And
threes did he hit?
it's like, what was it, like 4?
4 or 5 big ones, big
I
time
mean,
shots.
he was awesome for them. But then I also was like, we've kind of adopted the Hawks as our squad because of Trey Young. So
Yeah.
I couldn't pull the trigger on making Shake my winner of the week. Sorry, Shake. Sorry about that. Also thought about going with Oklahoma State football, right? Scheduling the home and home with Alabama. Was it 28 and 29?
That's right. That's right. I believe so.
Unfortunately for Oklahoma State, Nick Saban is still going to be there, probably.
Is Mike Gundy?
Well, I mean, he's not an old guy. And
No.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. That's a long, it's really not that long. What do you think? I'm going to say yes because I don't know who else would do a better job. I don't know. I think he'll still be there. Sure. Both Gundy. That 2028 game, it's going to be Gundy v. Saban.
All of the people that were there when Gundy got that job are quickly diminishing. They're quickly uh, fading from power at the university, and the fan base is about as cold on Mike Gundy as they've ever been right now.
That's true.
So a couple of down years, it wouldn't shock me if he's gone.
Does
And it
Chad
also wouldn't
Weiberg
shock me if he has
like
a
Gundy?
big year and bounces.
Huh.
Because he's been offered some things before. He's flirted with a lot of jobs. Like if he could flirt with any one of those right now again, my guess is he'd bail.
Maybe he'll bail before 2028 because he sees this game on his schedule and he's like, nope, I'm good. No
Yeah.
thanks. We're good. But my winner of the week, college football playoff expansion. Ted, it's all anyone is talking about. It's everyone's favorite topic to debate. Pete Thamel from Yahoo Sports puts out an article saying that the 12-team model is the early favorite when the college football playoff expands. Well, we'll see what happens. There's a working group that's going to report to the College Football Playoff Management Committee in the middle of July. But if you look at the 12-team format, it does seem like the logical format for it would be the first four teams get a bye. Your top four seeds get a bye. Then you would have 5 host 12, 6 host 11, 7 host 10, 8 host 9. And I think maybe I would want them to reseed everything after the first round of games so that the number one seed is playing the worst opponent. I'm not sure if anyone would really care if that happens or not. But Ted, I know you saw this. I know you have thoughts. 12-team playoff. What do you think?
Yes, I love it. I want more. And the NCAA has no choice. I know people loved just the BCS. And then now everyone says 4 is fine. We don't need more. More teams doesn't mean there's more people that are going to win the championship. It doesn't matter. NCAA doesn't have a choice. There's a couple of things that are going to continue to happen. Star players on teams that are not in the playoff, the 4-team playoff, are not going to play in bowl games anymore, right? The precedent is out there. It's not going to happen. Teams are going to start, or players rather, are going to start opting out of that, which means sponsors are going to start opting out of those bowl games. If you used to get a couple of good teams that didn't quite make the playoff, but they're going to be playing in the Cotton Bowl or the Peach or wherever is not a playoff site, you're still going to get a really good game with some really good opponents that people want to see. It's not the case anymore. If I'm sponsoring one of those bowl games and all the star players are not going to be there and the coaches after the game are going to say that, oh, well, it didn't matter anyways, we already played our last game of the season, then I'm not going to pay any money for it. So if they want more people to be engaged, they're going to have to add more teams to the playoff. The other thing, teams are really struggling across the country of putting butts in seats, and people are tired of going to home games where you've got, or buying a full season worth of tickets whenever you've got maybe one really good home game and the rest are bad, easy non-conference opponents that you know you're going to beat. If you add to the playoff, then you're going to also get way better non-conference games
That
and
may
a chance
be,
to possibly host a home playoff game if they go that route.
yeah, that the this leading to better non-conference games is one of the biggest positives for me. I also think a 12-team playoff, we've gotten some really terrible playoff games in the 4-team format because there's just some teams that have been so much better than others, right? And that's still going to happen when you expand to 12, but I do think those first round games and probably a couple of those second round games, right? You're going to get some really damn good football games.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think one of the reasons we have really bad games is you have a really long layoff. And whenever you have a really long layoff, you start chasing ghosts and creating things and picking a new style of offense or a new defensive game plan that you're going to run. And it turns into a disaster. Oh my God, they're not doing anything that we thought. If it stays in a week by week continual calendar like you do, let's say in the NFL, you're going to get more of what you've seen from that team all year long. And it's not going to be all of a sudden a month later you see a completely different team. I think that is one of the things that hurts college football.
Yeah. And just getting to see more teams in the playoff would create more
More fan base.
intrigue.
Everyone wants their team to have a chance, right?
Right. Yeah. And 12, it feels, I mean, if you're a Power 5 team, maybe if you're not a Kansas fan, but if you're a fan of a Power 5 team, 12 teams getting in, like it feels attainable for everyone.
And that's the thing is even if you know you're not going to win a national championship, you still have a goal no matter who you are, no matter what program you are. My guess is the non-power fives are going to have a better shot in this as well. The new level for most teams is going to be make the playoffs, just like it is in the NFL. There's only a couple of teams in the NFL that are going to win a Super Bowl, but every fan base's goal is to make the playoffs, right? We made the playoffs. Oh my God, we made the playoffs. Yes. Well, if you expand this thing to 12, you can be a team that otherwise is usually going to be a three-loss team, like say you're Kansas State. You're a three-loss team. You somehow won the conference championship. You're an automatic qualifier. You got a chance to go play for it all. When otherwise you'll never have a chance to do that.
Right. So I do think fans would feel more invested. It would keep them more invested longer into the season, which has been an issue. It would make the conference races feel more important. It gives the group of five a chance to actually make it into the field. And it would just be fun. And I mean, it's more football. Along with it encouraging teams to play tougher non-conference games, like you mentioned, like there's a lot of positives to that 12-team format.
It did piss me off that they said that the conference championship they don't want to make it an automatic qualifier. It
That
would
would be
still be.
really, really stupid.
I know they said it'd still be weighted, but um, they don't think
There's
it'd
got
be
to
an
be auto
automatic
bids,
qualifier,
or else there's no reason to expand.
or there's no reason to even have conferences.
Yeah,
What does that even matter?
yeah.
It, and the reason they say, well, we'll still weight it. It'll be. It's because, well, if we like you, we'll give you credit for it. If we don't like you, we won't give you credit for it. They want to hold on to some level of control. Stupid.
Yeah, just looking at a couple negatives that could possibly arise from the 12-team playoff. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to get a bunch of teams in, right? If you look at the last 5 seasons, if there would have been a 12-team playoff, the Big Ten and the SEC would have had 30 of the 60 teams in those 5 playoffs. And okay, I really don't have a problem with that, especially the SEC, because it's the best conference, it's got the best players. So they should probably have the most teams in the playoff. Like that's I'm fine.
2 team max.
I why though? Why a 2-team max?
Because I think that's plenty. If you have 5 conference champions, if you have um, what what was the proposal on the non-power five? Like there
The
was
highest ranked group of 5 champ.
something like that. There's an automatic qualifier there. Um, I don't know. I think you could do it without doing. I mean, it it's better for the sport to spread it across the country. I don't think there's any doubt that there's more people in the SEC, more teams that are better. Okay. But if you want to continue to grow the sport and engage the West Coast and engage like areas of the country that haven't had a fighting chance in a long time, and those people they've tuned it out. We're not going to be any good this year. If you want to engage everyone, and I know that maybe that doesn't get automatically your best 12 in, at some point, who cares if you got the best 12? If you got the best 4, that's really all that we care about.
Right. But this is going to take some negotiation. And why would the SEC agree to that? Right. They're already getting 2 teams in sometimes at the 14. Why would they say, yeah, it sounds good. 2-team max. Like and they carry some serious weight. I don't know. For me, it would be you get the 5 power 5, you get the one group of 5, and then you
Well, there's
take the
no
other
doubt.
6.
There's no doubt that a 2 team max would be better for college football, but it wouldn't be better for the SEC, right? I mean,
And
that's
it is having teams that aren't as good as other teams in, like having a team that is not as good as a team in instead of a team that's better than them like that. I don't think that's, I know what you're saying when you say
It
good,
is
you
good
mean
though.
regionally, right?
Yeah,
But
and it's not
I don't
long
think putting
before.
bad teams in over a better team is good for college football. I don't.
No, but you get that.
I
You
had
get
a
the
lot of
same thing
trouble
in the.
explaining how I wanted to say that, by the
No,
way.
it makes sense. I know what you're saying, but it doesn't last long, in my opinion. It wouldn't last long if you had uh, Oregon and USC make it instead of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU make it. Well, you're going to get a lot of airtime and a lot of credibility given to those West Coast schools, and it's going to help them and recruit them. It's going to help them in donations. It's going to help them pour more resources into their program, and it's ultimately going to balance everything out. Again, bad for the SEC, but good for the landscape of college football if they want to get more fans and more fan bases bought in and involved instead of just a regional part of the country down in the South.
Yeah. One other issue that I thought of when they were talking about the top 4 teams getting a bye and that first round of games being held on campuses. I was like, well, it kind of feels like you're punishing
Punishing, yeah.
them by not letting them have a game like the university. They want some of that money, right? They want the gate. They want that their economy wants the revenue that comes from hosting a big time game like that. So I don't know how the top 4 teams will be compensated for that, or if, I don't know. That seems like a
They
complex
can host
issue.
a watch party.
Yeah. Who will we play? Come to the stadium and watch. Okay, my loser of the week. Thought about going with people that eat Chipotle. I don't eat there a lot, but I guess prices are going up. I saw it all over Twitter. Prices are going up to offset paying their employees more. So, Ted,
Shocker.
that guac is going to be extra extra now.
Well, I like Chipotle. I think it's
As
really
do I.
good. But it's pretty well known that you can get almost the exact same thing down the street at Qdoba for way less money, right?
I think some people would debate you on that they're the exact same thing. You
Yeah,
would
I mean, there
People
is
are
a
passionate about
difference.
their burrito places. I'm a
Yeah,
Moe's guy, but all the Moe's are gone.
yeah.
There used to be one in the airport. It wasn't a very good one, but I loved Moe's
Yeah.
and they're not
If
here.
you want the worst version of any restaurant, go to the airport. That's where their
That's
worst
so
version is.
true.
But there is a difference between Chipotle and Qdoba. There is, but is it that noticeable in this guy's opinion? No.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
with you.
quantity over quality type of guy.
Just give me the meat and the cheese. Lots of meat, lots of cheese, some veggies. Let's roll. I also thought about going with Garrett Cole's publicist after after what he said. I don't think he handled that question about using sticky stuff the way that his publicist. I'm assuming he has a publicist. He may not. I mean, he's a very successful baseball player, but that uh um I don't know how exactly how to answer that question. That was one of the all-time, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing moments. It was so funny.
Come on, lie like everyone else always has,
Just say
okay?
no.
Just say no, next question. Or, well, even if you say no comment, that's a yes. So just say no and move on. Uh, what's crazy about this whole thing is it Chris Sale, the big um, home run hitter? He said that.
Chris Sale's a pitcher, I'm pretty sure.
Well, who was it? One of the big hitters. I've got the name wrong. Said that he doesn't want them to enact this rule because he wants a pitcher to have a good grip on the baseball when he's throwing it 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, It's a baseball. It's not like he's throwing some slippery object at you. People have thrown baseballs 100 miles an hour for a long time without some type of crap on it. That was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah. That sounds like something Pete Alonso would say from the Mets.
Yeah. I'd rather not be able to hit it than it hit me, even though it's not going to hit me. That's so stupid.
What an odd thing to say. Okay, but my loser of the week, the Los Angeles Clippers. Yes, we're back, baby. We are back. Cheering against them continues to fuel me through the NBA playoffs. And man, did I enjoy watching the Clippers blow that lead in the second half in game one against the Jazz. Now, you mentioned some of the great stuff Paul George is doing, our man playoff P off the court, but still not exactly killing it in the playoffs. Went 4 of 17. And
I'll send some kids to camp to cover up for that 4 of 17 night. There's no doubt.
keep taking care of the kids, Paul George. You're the man. But yeah, keep shooting 4 of 17 too, because it brought joy to my heart. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell for exploding in the second half of that game. It was weird. I mean, they said he was like sick in the first half, wasn't feeling well, I guess.
Hey, coronavirus game for Mitchell. You got to love it.
Hey, and he explodes, ends up with 45 points in that game. Ted, I won't even lie. I was cheered for Rudy Gobert. I did it. I was able to do it. It didn't feel good, but I was glad when he blocked Marcus Morris' shot there at the end to seal the victory. I was like, you know what? Maybe it was one of those half-hearted, like I almost cheered, almost clapped, and like my hands physically resisted each other. And I was like, oh, but I was happy. I was happy that the Clippers lost.
It looked like his fingertips were like 15 feet in the air when he blocked that three.
It
Pretty
was,
impressive.
I mean, what did he win? Just like his 4th defensive player of the year?
Yep.
He's pretty good at the whole preventing people from putting the ball in the basket thing. But they Jazz did it without Mike Conley. And we'll see when he returns and kind of what shape he's in when he returns. But I don't feel great about the Jazz winning the series after watching that game, especially if an effective version of Mike Conley doesn't return for the Jazz. But Teddy, I just enjoy watching the Clippers lose so much. I love it.
It's fun. It's good. I this is how I felt about Tony Romo his entire career. It's more fun to root against someone than it is to root for someone.
We're terrible people.
In some instances, I guess maybe not in all of them, but in the Dallas Cowboys case, it is.